It's time for Real Talk with Brian and Dan, the weekly talk radio show dedicated to discussing important real estate topics, plus insight into the local community. With a combined experience of over 50 years as local real estate brokers from the Eastside Real Estate Team at Keller Williams Realty Bellevue. Here's your hosts, Brian Levitt and Dan Edwards.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Real Talk. We want to wish you a very happy March is what we want to wish you, right? Right, Eric? All right. So it is Wednesday, March 4th, the third month of the first quarter. Looking forward to some March madness and some spring bulbs popping up. I got some bulbs coming up right now.
My daffodils are popping everywhere.
Daffodils, yeah. Tiptoe through the tulips soon. So we're glad
and the chorus begins.
I don't know. We're glad you joined us today. As you know, you can listen to us on the radio. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Simply check out the live stream on 1150 KKNW. And if you'd like to listen to past episodes, you can catch us on Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts. And lastly, we've got every broadcast on our website on the eastsiderealestateteam.com. Feel free to go there and watch any of the past episodes of our fantastic business partners here on the East Side. And we have another fantastic show this week, Brian.
We do.
I'm looking very much forward to talking to Aline Vieira of Memory Books by Aline and Kathleen Hunter from the Northwest Canine Coalition. We're dog fans on the Real Talk here, so we're going to have some good conversations. So get ready to adopt a dog. You can do it today.
Yeah, we can start a new segment, Puppy Talk.
Puppy Talk, that'd be fun. It'd be kind of interesting.
All right.
Now, before we get to our guests today, let's start out with some Real Talk. Brian, in today's Real Talk segment, we're going to talk about what a individual, a couple, or a family would need to know when building their own home.
Yeah. You know, when I meet with a client that's interested in building their own home, if it's a couple, which most of our clients are, first question is, how's your relationship?
Right.
Because it's stressful and it's hard.
Yeah.
One of the biggest benefits of building your own home is you build in instant equity, but you don't get that money for nothing. It's a lot of work.
Yep.
And so one of the things that's important is just laying out the plan. And one of the first things is finding the property, where you're going to build. And
Yeah. So do you think in general, you said instant equity, and that's because they have to spend kind of a lot of sweat up front, equity.
A lot of work up front. Yep.
Sometimes I have people approach me with the idea that it's much more economical to build a home first rather than buying a first home in a first-time home price band. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, Brian, because in my experience, I haven't found anybody save money doing it.
Yeah, I have, but again, it's a lot of work, and so the equity you build is basically your compensation for doing the work that the builder would have done.
Okay, so that's where you save is by kind of being a general, and yeah. And who are the guys out in North Bend that do that?
Oh gosh, Adair Homes.
Adair Homes,
they're fabulous.
Yeah, we should probably have them on and kind of go through some of the details of that. But they're one of the companies out there, and what they say is, you find the land, you secure the financing, and then we will build the home.
Right. And so just to talk through the process here, is finding the land, doing the feasibility study to make sure it's suitable. And that's where Dan and I come in is helping locate, that's the real estate portion.
Right.
We help locate that. And then doing the feasibility study, which is simply assessing to make sure you can build what you want to build. And part of that is your builder will do parts of that with you. They'll come walk the property and give you their assessment of their ability to build the floor plan that you're interested on that property.
And typically land could range anywhere from $50,000 all the way up to $400,000, right?
Yeah.
And it depends on where it's at in the development process, right?
These tend to be rural properties. You're not going to find a lot typically in the middle of a neighborhood. You're going to find something, although a little side note here is there's times when people buy a home in a neighborhood and bulldoze it.
And actually, I had a client approach me. He says, we live in this neighborhood, and I know that they're doing this around here. They're what we call infill.
Right.
So they'll find a house that's been lived in for 40 years, well cared for, or even in disarray. And the permit process, if I understand, is quicker if you use the existing foundation.
Right.
And then you can add to the existing foundation. Yeah. But that's one way to identify. But you're going to pay more when there's a structure on a piece of property because there's water, sewer, electricity, gas, generally to a spot on the land. Where is if you buy just raw land, that feasibility is going to tell you where those utilities are.
Right. I've got a client I'm helping right now with this process. We're working on a property that's the lowest price lot I've seen in the last 20 years.
Wow.
The reason is it's a tough build.
There you
So
go.
we're working through the process. We've been evaluating, bringing out, sensitive area people, engineers, biologists, septic designer, bring out all the people to make sure they can build. That's the feasibility study.
So what are the different steps? I mean, there's a wetlands.
Wetlands, so sensitive area.
Okay.
Determine, where you can, because if there's a wetland, you're going to have a setback from that.
And we're in the Northwest,
Yeah,
so
it's kinda wet. Yep.
the chances are if you find a property that's cheap, it's got a lot of wetland
Right,
issues.
exactly. And sometimes, I just had one recently that totally buildable if you could get to it. You had to cross wetlands to get to it.
Get an
totally
easement of some
unfeasible.
kind. Yeah.
Well, not an easement, but just access across the wetlands.
You'd have to fill it, and that's the
Not
big
going to
no-no.
happen. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Can you take a boat to your house?
That's a clever idea.
Just like a moat and take it out.
build
Yeah.
a little pond and just float your boat.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one of the biggest challenges why most people
Yeah.
fizzle out, because of the time it takes. Because you're just talking first, where is
Right.
the buildable area?
Right.
Where's ingress, egress, and then next you got to do septic.
Right. Within
Where do
that
you put the
buildable areas, where does
septic
your
system?
septic and drain field and a reserve drain field, a second drain field?
Wow.
So it becomes pretty complex.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I recommend is I have an engineering firm I like to work with. They will do an awful lot of this feasibility study.
I was going to ask you, who
Yeah.
do you must have
Yeah.
on the team?
Yeah, that's the first one is
Okay.
your engineering team, septic designer, wetlands person, a biologist. And, that's the big stuff right there.
Well, and Brian, for the last 5 years or so, you've been developing your own
Right.
property.
I've developed a property. We've got a 5-lot short plat in Sammamish that's a beauty.
Yeah.
But we went through the whole process.
Yeah.
Engineering, geotech, archaeologist.
From the time, really?
Yeah, determine if there's any.
Find any diamonds?
No,
or no?
no.
Gold?
But no, some of these areas, there's sites that are of archaeological significance.
Oh,
So you
Indian
gotta
reservation. Indian.
Native American. Got to look for that to say, okay, is this significant?
Oh, is there anybody else not involved in this
Wildlife
process?
corridors, the Corps of Engineers.
Oh, wow.
U.S. Department of.
Yeah, really?
Oh, yeah. It's complex. That's why you need somebody like Dan and I to walk you through it.
Yeah.
That's what we
Hold your
do.
hand.
That's what we get
coach
the big
you
bucks
through
for.
it. Make sure
Yeah.
that it doesn't
Yeah.
end in tragedy for your
Well,
marriage.
here's the thing: we don't want our clients to buy a lot that they can't build.
Yeah.
That's just
It looks
not
bad.
fun.
Yeah.
So
And it's not fun. Yeah,
Nope.
definitely.
Nope.
All right. Well, that concludes our Real Talk for today. If you're interested in learning more about whether buying land and building is something that fits for your needs in this market, Brian and I'd love to help you out. You could reach us at 425-200-4093 or find us at the eastsiderealestateteam.com. Shoot us an email. We'd love to guide you through that. And we appreciate you listening. So next up, after our short little commercial break here, we'll be speaking with our lender for our Mortgage Moment segment. We're going to be talking with Wes Graham, a senior loan originator from Washington First Mortgage. Come on back after this break for some more Real Talk.